Mom, Dad, are we still gonna be okay for college?
We're figuring it out.
I've heard this question too many times. Families who worked hard, saved diligently, did everything the system told them to do, now wondering if it was all enough. Too often, the answer is no, not the way they were promised. For decades, Washington and Wall Street told us, play by the rules and your retirement would be secure. But what if those rules weren't written to protect you? What if they were written to protect the system? In the early days, America's government was funded almost entirely by tariffs and excise taxes. Your wages, your farm, your savings, untouched.
For most of the 19th century, Americans never filed a federal tax return. The idea of taxing your labor was seen as radical, even un-American.
But wars change everything. The Civil War brought a temporary income tax. In 1913, temporary became permanent with the 16th Amendment. They promised it would only touch the rich, less than 2% of Americans at the time. They promised it would be temporary.
The income tax will only touch the wealthiest citizens, sparing the great body of our people.
But once Washington opened that door, it never closed. That's how the IRS was born. And with it, a system that would gradually expand to touch nearly every American paycheck.
My father used to say income tax was for the rich. Now I'm retired on a modest pension, and they still take a piece of everything I pull out.
That's the story of American taxes. What started small grew bigger than anyone expected. By World War II, tax rates soared. While only the highest earners paid 94%, millions of ordinary Americans, who were never supposed to be included, found themselves pulled into the tax system. What began as a tax on the few became a tax on nearly everyone. The Great Depression brought Social Security. The Great Society brought Medicare and Medicaid. Each was sold as protection. Each was underfunded from the start.
My dad worked his whole life believing Social Security would take care of him. But by the time he retired, the check barely covered groceries.
Tell me, did you ever feel like they changed the deal on you?
Absolutely. We thought Social Security was a guarantee. Now we're told they might cut benefits. That wasn't the promise.
Without reform, Social Security's trust fund is projected to run dry by 2033. At that point, benefits could be cut by roughly 20% across the board.
The president himself has said we are not going to touch Social Security and Medicare. That lulls people into a false sense of security and a sense of security that, the federal government will just bail this out. There's going to come a time when that just can't happen.
Once Washington learned they could tax directly, they discovered something else. They could promise the moon and pass the bill to the next generation. Today, the national debt exceeds $37 trillion. A 1% rise in interest rates could add hundreds of billions to annual costs, money that buys no schools, no roads, no medicine, just interest.
Every time they vote for another $1 trillion, I wonder, who's paying for this? Deep down, I know it's us, the savers, the retirees, the ones who did the right thing.
Washington's debt is your tax bill, deferred, and it's coming due. When Washington spends more than it has, you pay, through higher taxes, through inflation, or both. And when that happens, your retirement savings are first in line.
It's very simply this. The government, are they going to need more revenue in the future? Yes or no? Everybody says yes. Is it possible they could need a lot more revenue? Of course it is. They're going to transfer wealth from those that have to those that don't. And the 90% of the people in America who don't have any money have the votes to make sure that that transfer will happen. So it's very, very important that people do planning now while they can stay in control.
Two families, same savings, same retirement date, but one follows the old playbook, the other questions it. The result? Night and day.
Every time we withdraw from our 401k, Washington takes a bite. We saved all our lives, but it doesn't feel like our money anymore.
And that's the trap. You were told to defer taxes, but no one told you taxes could rise. Now Washington's fiscal mess is eating away at your life savings. Here's the great deception. They sold you an illusion of wealth. But a retirement account balance isn't the same as spendable income. The system wasn't built to maximize your lifestyle. It was built to feed itself.
Whatever the current people in Washington think is not relevant to what I'm talking about, because there's a reality coming at you. And the reality is going to cause them to say, wait a minute, where do we get the money to spend it on infrastructure, on military, and so on? The squeeze from the rising debt burden, combined with other things, is going to squeeze out the things they want. So they're going to have to pay attention to it.
You've worked, saved, and invested. You trusted the system. But what if the playbook was broken from the start? If you're wondering what this means for your future, I can help. Because the real goal of retirement isn't just saving money. It's creating net spendable cash flow, income you can actually use to fund your lifestyle, protect your principal, reduce taxes, and leave more for your family. Want to see how much taxes and inflation could impact your retirement income? Click below to use our free calculator. In our next episode, we'll uncover how Washington and Wall Street steered Americans into a retirement strategy that was never designed to maximize your cash flow, only to benefit them. Do you remember the promise? Work hard, save into your 401k, and someday, retire comfortably.
A major change in retirement planning today. Congress has approved new 401k provisions, allowing workers to set aside pre-tax dollars.
It's a move many believe will reshape how Americans save for their future.
That was the pitch. But what if the retirement system we were sold was never designed to maximize your lifestyle, only to benefit Washington and Wall Street? In this episode, we uncover how the playbook was rigged from the very beginning, and why focusing on your account balance instead of your net spendable cash flow could cost you everything.
My dad retired from Ford with a pension. Every month, that check came. No stress, no market risk. He never worried.
For most of the 20th century, American workers relied on pensions. Your company promised income for life, predictable, secure. But in the 1970s, corporations realized pensions were costly, risky, and Wall Street saw an opportunity. Enter the 401k, not built as America's retirement backbone, but as a tax loophole. Employers quickly realized it shifted risk from the company to you. And Wall Street? They found a steady stream of fees.
The 401k wasn't designed to be the main retirement vehicle. It started as a tax loophole, but once employers saw it cut their costs, they abandoned pensions. And the government, Wall Street, and big corporations all benefited.
Hits himself, stops at 4, 23,000 sold 5/8.
The 401k handed Wall Street the keys to your future. Every paycheck, your money flows into their system. 1% in annual fees may not sound like much, but over decades, it can drain nearly a third of your nest egg.
They told us it was safe. Just set it and forget it. But no one explained the fees. We lost thousands over the years just in management costs.
That's money that could have been cash flow for your family.
These guys are scamming us.
I don't like having things hidden from me. It's our money.
If you go through this information packet for these fees, I'm sure that either your head will be on your chest, your eyes will be glazed over, and you simply will not be able to decipher the information that you need as the saver.
Money is being siphoned out every year. It's like having a leaking bucket.
And the chances of ending up behind the 8 ball are very large.
First of all, no one knows exactly when bond markets are going to decide this is not sustainable. What you don't want to do is wait until the bond markets blow the whistle.
And when markets crash, guess who takes the hit? You, not Washington, not Wall Street. That's why a balance on paper isn't the same as spendable income. This is the great deception. Defer taxes now. You'll be in a lower bracket later. That was the promise. But look around. Taxes aren't trending down. With $37 trillion in national debt, do you really believe Washington will shrink your tax bill?
When we retired, our income dropped, but so did our deductions. No kids at home, house paid off. Suddenly, we're paying more tax than when we worked.
Deferring taxes can mean walking into retirement with your largest tax liability still waiting. Your biggest tax bill often doesn't hit while you're working. It hits in retirement when you can least afford it.
And we're taking a hell of a bet because we have to start reforming entitlements, or we will, in my view, we will have to raise taxes. Now, precisely how high it's going to be, there's a lot of room to debate, but people will have to pay more taxes. And that's painful. But you can't get away with stuff forever for nothing.
We thought we'd travel, see the world. Instead, we budget every dollar. Half of what we pull out goes to taxes or medical bills. It's certainly not the retirement we dreamed of.
And you're not alone. Millions of Americans followed a retirement playbook that was never designed to maximize net spendable income. It was built to serve the system. The American dream of a secure retirement is slipping away. Families who trusted the system are finding out too late. A big account balance doesn't always translate into spendable cash flow. Here's the truth. Washington and Wall Street created a retirement system that shifted the risk to you while they kept the rewards. If you're beginning to wonder whether the playbook you've been following was designed to trap you, you're right. The good news? There's another way. A strategy focused not just on saving, but on creating net spendable cash flow, income that protects your principal, reduces taxes, and builds a legacy for your family. Want to see how rising taxes and inflation could drain your retirement paycheck? Click below to run your free calculation. In our next episode, we'll uncover the hidden tax time bomb and the steps you can take now to protect your lifestyle before it's too late.
I thought I was done paying Uncle Sam. Turns out, retirement is when he takes the biggest bite.
They told you taxes would be lower in retirement, but the truth? For many Americans, the biggest tax bill of their lives is waiting just around the corner. In this episode, we'll expose the ticking tax time bomb and why your retirement savings could be the fuse. Washington has promised more than it can deliver. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Add in $37 trillion in debt, and history points to only one likely outcome: higher taxes.
When you cut taxes on current generations, you are simultaneously raising them on future generations.
People talk about taxes and debt as if they're polar opposites. They're really the same thing. It is all driven by spending. Once we have spent a dollar, we've already decided to tax it. The only question is whether we tax it now or we borrow it now and tax it in the future.
And if you think about it, what is debt? All debt is taking from the future and spending it today.
I don't think anybody believes that taxes are going to get lower the more years you live. So by the time I'm 65 or when I'm ready to retire, I'm going to be paying more taxes at that time than I ever will.
Don't think taxes can't rise? History says otherwise. In the 1940s, top earners paid 94%. Today, we call 37% high. What happens when Washington runs out of options?
We did everything they told us. We saved faithfully in our 401k. But now, every time we withdraw, it feels like the IRS is standing there with their hand out. Yeah. I never realized the government would own a piece of our retirement.
In retirement, your deductions vanish. No kids at home. Your house is paid off. Standard deduction only. That's when the tax torpedo hits. Withdrawals from your IRA or 401k can trigger taxes on up to 85% of your Social Security. Suddenly, income you thought was safe becomes taxable. The cruel surprise? Your biggest tax bill often comes when you least expect it.
When my wife and I filed our first taxes after retiring, we were shocked. Half our Social Security got taxed. No one ever explained that to us.
So let me ask you, When you realized how much tax was coming out, how did it feel?
Like we'd been lied to. We thought we'd done everything right. Now it feels like we're being punished.
Most people don't realize it yet, but taxes and inflation are quietly eroding their retirement savings.
What looks safe on paper can shrink fast once you account for rising costs and higher tax rates.
When you put money into a tax-deferred account, you're not the sole owner. The government is your silent partner, and they decide what percentage they'll take later.
When my accountant explained it, it suddenly hit me. We don't have a savings account. We have a joint account with the IRS.
The 2017 tax cuts expire in 2026. That means many Americans' tax rates are already scheduled to rise, and that's before Washington even addresses the debt crisis.
You cannot grow your way out of this problem.
That means we have one of two choices. We either cut spending or we raise taxes. And there's consequences to both these choices.
In my heart, I would love to say that there's some sort of realization that we're all going to come to, but the reality is most likely that we will hit the crisis point sometime in the next decade. And when that happens, I'm not entirely sure that the public will see it as anything other than an invitation to raise taxes.
We dreamed of traveling. Instead, we're stuck calculating how much we can withdraw without triggering another tax bracket.
I feel like we did everything right. Saved, invested, sacrificed. And now we're punished for it.
I hear this over and over. The savers, the planners, the responsible ones. You're the ones getting squeezed hardest, because the old system wasn't built to maximize your net spendable income. It was built to maximize tax revenue. This isn't just about spreadsheets. It's dreams deferred, trips canceled, legacies diminished. And it's happening to millions who thought they played by the rules.
You have a Social Security system that's underfunded by $34 trillion, that you have a Medicare system that's running out of money through time. Medicaid is the same story.
I love America. America tells you to be fiscally responsible, financially responsible in your choices, but the government is not an example of fiscal responsibility.
The tax time bomb is real, and if you don't defuse it, it could devastate the retirement you've worked your whole life to build. The truth? Rising taxes and inflation are poised to eat away at your retirement paycheck faster than you think. Click below to run your free tax and inflation calculation and see how much of your nest egg you'll actually keep. Because in our next episode, we'll expose the silent killers hiding inside the traditional retirement playbook, the risks that can quietly strip away your income and your future security, and reveal the strategies the wealthy use to fight back.
Alan Weir, who turned 60 this month, showed us his latest 401k statement, which he hadn't had the courage to open up.
I'm afraid.
There's good reason for his trepidation. Nearly half of his life savings have vanished in a matter of months.
It went down again.
How much are you down overall?
About $140,000.
You think you'll ever get it back?
I would probably never see it come back. I was looking to retire probably when I hit 62. Can't do it now. I'll probably be working until I'm at least 70.
They told us retirement was about how much you could save, but the truth is, it's about how much income your savings can generate. And for millions of Americans, the old strategy runs out before they do.
Several years ago, we had to pull money from our 401k for an emergency.
We didn't think much of it at the time, but looking back, it set our retirement back by years.
Here's the danger no one explains. When you withdraw from your nest egg, you don't just reduce the balance, you lose future growth. Every dollar withdrawn is a dollar that stops compounding. Pull out $50,000 today, and it's not just gone. It's the hundreds of thousands it could have grown into. That's the opportunity cost that leaves retirees broke sooner than expected.
My dad used to grumble about taxes every April. He'd say they were bleeding him dry. Funny thing is, looking back, his rates were higher than mine. But now everyone says taxes are headed up again. Between that and the fees buried in my 401k, I'm starting to see why he worried so much.
And then there are the fees, hidden, compounding, quietly draining your retirement. History shows every crisis becomes an excuse to raise taxes. At one point, top rates hit 94%. Today's lower brackets won't last forever. Most experts agree, taxes are expected to rise. You don't want to be caught unprepared.
I always believed that if I just saved enough in my 401k, I'd be safe. I thought this is what responsible people do. But every year I withdrew a little more, and every year my balance dropped faster. Then the market dipped and my Social Security got taxed. I always believed that if I just saved enough in my 401k, I'd be safe. I thought this is what responsible people do. That was the moment I realized this isn't working. This path is leading me to run out. There's got to be another way. That's when I finally sat down with my advisor.
And you learned about tax-free growth, asset-based accounts you could borrow against without touching your principal.
Exactly. And for the first time, I heard about strategies I didn't even know existed. I could create spendable income without bleeding my savings dry.
And what did you think when you learned about these strategies?
It changed everything for me. It gives me hope.
Her story is the story of thousands. They discover too late that the old way is broken, but there are better strategies. Tax-efficient, principal-protected, income-producing assets that can create real net spendable cash flow. Click below to run your free tax and inflation calculation. It'll show you how much of your retirement savings you'll actually keep. Because in our final episode, we'll give you the strategies. The new way the wealthy have quietly used for decades to fund lifestyle, protect principal, reduce taxes, and pass on a legacy to the next generation. What if retirement wasn't about running out of money, but about creating enough cash flow to truly live? What if you could generate income, protect your savings, reduce taxes, and leave more behind? That's not a fantasy. It's a different strategy, a new way. Here's the truth. The wealthy don't retire the way most people do. They don't just save money. They make their money work like a partner. They use leverage. They borrow against assets, real estate, investment portfolios, even life insurance. So their dollars can do two jobs at once, generate income and keep their principal protected. And because properly structured loans aren't considered taxable income, they often enjoy those benefits tax-free. That's what I call the first shift, turning your assets into an engine instead of a retirement account you drain. When your principal is protected from market losses, you're not spending your retirement rebuilding, you're finally living. And when you reposition those assets into tax-advantaged vehicles, you keep more of what you've earned. That's the second shift, from accumulation to preservation and protection. Less anxiety, more lifestyle now, more legacy later. Here's the thing, the goal isn't just to have money in accounts. It's to have spendable income that funds your life, your family, and your purpose. This is the third shift, from a return on paper to a return on life. That's what the new way delivers. Tax-free or tax-advantaged cash flow. Principal protection. Leverage that multiplies what you already have. And a legacy you control. Unfortunately, most people are following the old playbook. It was written for a different era. Save, defer, and hope taxes stay low. But what if the next decade looks nothing like the last? What if you could use the same strategies the wealthy use, without needing millions in the bank? And what if you could see, right now, exactly how taxes and inflation will impact your future, and how to fight back? How might that make a difference in your retirement planning? That's why we built the interactive calculator and retirement tools you'll find below. They'll show you the side-by-side difference between the old way and the new way, so you can finally see what's possible. When you understand the difference between account value and net spendable income, everything changes. You stop playing defense. You start designing your future on purpose. Congratulations! You now understand what most people never do. that the retirement system we were taught to trust was built on deferred taxes and wishful thinking. You've seen how taxes, inflation, and government debt quietly erode the nest egg you've worked for. Now it's time to see what those forces could mean for you. This calculator is part of your interactive journey through the Great Deception. Each episode reveals a new challenge, from rising taxes to market risk to income drawdown, and includes a calculator designed to help you see how those issues could affect your own financial future. The numbers you'll see aren't exact. They're a snapshot for clarity, not a final answer. Each calculator gives you insight into how these forces impact your retirement and your legacy. So I encourage you to watch every episode and use each calculator along the way, because together they'll help you understand where you are, what's possible, and how to build a strategy that truly works for you. Let's start here. Get your estimate, see where you stand, and when you're ready, we'll help you calculate your real number together. You see, for decades, the old way has been the same. Defer taxes, build a 401k, and hope it's enough. But hope isn't a strategy. The old way leaves your future exposed to market swings and rising tax rates. The new way is about control, using what the wealthiest families have always used: leverage and tax-free growth. We call it the LIFT method, leveraged income for tax-free growth. Now, I know the word leverage can sound frightening or risky, but when it's structured properly, inside tax-advantaged, protected assets, leverage becomes a power tool. It's how we turbocharge tax-free wealth. Leverage is the jet fuel that helps your money work harder, not riskier, creating more potential income today and a stronger legacy tomorrow. This isn't theory. It's the same principle America's wealthiest families have used for generations. John D. Rockefeller built one of the first tax-free family trusts, and 5 generations later, that same wealth still provides for his descendants and charities. J.P. Morgan and Henry Ford used protected structures and strategic leverage to build family legacies that shaped America. And today, modern innovators like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Steve Jobs have all used the same idea: borrowing against assets instead of liquidating them, avoiding unnecessary taxes, and keeping their wealth compounding, tax-efficient, and under their control. And here's the truth: you don't have to be a billionaire to use these same principles. These strategies have been available to ordinary families for decades. They've just never been taught how to use them. The LIFT method takes those same wealth-building tools and applies them to your retirement, helping you protect what you've built and pass it on to the people you love. So ask yourself, what would your family legacy look like if your wealth stayed intact for generations? Funding education, faith, freedom, and opportunity, instead of being consumed by inflation, taxes, and fees. What could your family accomplish if your money worked for them instead of Wall Street or Washington? Would it be worth scheduling a simple 20-minute conversation to learn how families like yours are already doing it? That's what the great families of history did. And now, through the LIFT method, you can too. Here's what happens when you take the next step. First, clarity. These calculators help you see the big picture, what your savings could really mean after taxes and inflation. Second, your personal LIFT session. This is where we take your results and apply the LIFT method, modeling how structured leverage and tax-free growth could change your results. And third, your legacy blueprint. This connects everything: your lifestyle goals, your family, your giving, so your money continues your story long after you're gone. Clarity, strategy, legacy. That's what happens when you take the next step. Now imagine this. What if you could protect your wealth the same way the Rockefellers did, or grow it tax-free like Musk and Bezos do today? What would your retirement look like if your spendable income could double without taking on more risk? And what would it mean to know your family will inherit your values and your wealth instead of giving half to the IRS? You've already done what 99% of Americans never do. You've questioned the system. Now it's time to act. Use the calculator below to get your first snapshot. Then schedule your 20-minute LIFT session to discover your real numbers, the ones that could change your family's story forever. Every day that passes, your window for today's historically low tax rates gets smaller. Why leave control of your future to chance when you can lift it?